What's going on, guys? It's Bryce again. Welcome to another episode of Expedition to Try. This is the day to day for May 7th, 2021, titled Advice from an Ice Cream Server. The other day, I was at work, scooping ice cream, minding my own business, when this young one asked me for college advice. Huh? What? Advice? From me? So let me give you a little bit of context. I was working at my family's ice cream shop, as I've been doing this summer, making a little money, and my coworker for the day was someone I hadn't really met yet. So we were talking, going through the basic small talk that we normally go through when we meet a new person, and we were just talking about the basics of hobbies and what we're doing and where we went to college, where I went to college, because this person's still in high school, and going to college next year. So then they asked me if I had any advice for someone who was planning on going into college. And my initial reaction was, do I have any advice? I feel like I didn't do college very well because I went in studying biology, ended up not wanting to continue on the path with biology, not wanting to get a job, not wanting to go to grad school. So, can I really give this person advice on how to be successful in college? So, that was my first thought. And as I continued thinking about it, I realized something, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. So, the advice I did give to this individual was one, when you go to college, realize everyone there is in the exact same position as you. Everyone there is moving away from home, staying in this new environment, trying to meet new people, trying to make new friends, and just trying to pass all their classes. Everyone is there for the same reason. So when you first start out in college, you have to kind of be, if you're not so talkative, be more talkative, and just don't hesitate to introduce yourself to new people wherever you are, in lunch lines and in classes and join clubs and stuff. So that was my first piece of advice. And my second piece of advice was this: don't put too much pressure on yourself when you're just starting out in your college career. You don't have to go into college knowing what you want to study and knowing what you want your career path to be. You don't have to do that. You have time. So I told this person to focus more on taking a bunch of different classes. Act as though you're a liberal arts major and you have to take classes in English, philosophy, art, theater. Take all these broad knowledge and introductory classes and see what feels good to you. See what you enjoy. And maybe you will end up sticking with the major you had in mind, or maybe your path will be completely switched. You'll never know unless you try all these different classes. So this conversation I had with my coworker made me think about just advice and helping other people in general, because it's cool that even though I personally may not have gotten out of college what a lot of people do, I know there are others who have been through a similar process that I went through. But the fact that I went to college my freshman year, declared a bio major because that's what I wanted to do, and then I went through my college career and then decided I didn't want to continue down the path of biology, and now I don't have a job in the field and I don't plan on having a job or career in the field. It's, to me, different from what a lot of new college students hear from the people around them. So what I was thinking about was how no matter what path you've been down, you always have the ability to teach another person something, to give them advice, and to help them with this next stage of their life. If you've been through something that someone else has not, and they're looking for advice, just because you didn't go through that path the quote unquote normal way that so many people are used to, you're still able to explain to them what you experienced and what you learned from it. So you don't have to do everything correctly. There isn't even a correct way to do things. I wouldn't say the way I did college was incorrect, and I wouldn't say that the way most people do, where they go into a career in their field, I wouldn't say that's necessarily correct either. It is for some people, but for some people it's not. So there's no right or wrong way to do these things, and there's no right or wrong way to live our lives. No matter how we decide to follow our path, there's always something to be learned from that. We can always teach another person who hasn't been through these things. We can always teach them something that they didn't know before, and maybe even give them a different and more interesting perspective. Because I always think, when I think back to high school and I think about my process of choosing a college, most people were telling me, like, you have to go into college and figure out what you want to study pretty soon into your college career. And you should be preparing for a career in that field. So figure out what you would want to do for the rest of your life and go into college and pick the right path that'll get you there the easiest and fastest. Now that I've been through college and I've been through all the biology classes and made the realization that I don't want to do that, I now have the ability to share that story and say, this is what I learned through my college experience. And I learned that you don't have to rush into these things. You don't have to pick a major right away. You should experience clubs, other classes, meet new people, and do all these new things and really figure out who you are and what you actually would want to do in the long term. You don't have to know right away. So to me, that's a more interesting and different perspective than I'm sure my coworker has heard in the past. So basically, to wrap this up, don't ever think that you can't teach somebody something or give someone advice. Don't think people can't learn from what you've done. No matter what path you've taken, no matter what choices you've made, whether they be right or wrong, people can find guidance in your story and people can find parallels, or it'll just reinforce their current beliefs. The way I see it, there's 3 different ways these things can go. You can either tell someone what you went through and give them the advice, and they can either agree with you and choose to do basically what you said and to take your advice, or they can disagree with you and it'll just reinforce what they had already been thinking. So if you tell someone don't rush into a major and they disagree with you, then it'll just reinforce their belief that this is what I want to do. I'm going to go in my freshman year and choose this major. Or if you tell someone advice, maybe it'll just stay there in the back of their mind. They won't necessarily take your advice, but they're not hesitating from it. So basically, don't ever hesitate to give advice and to share the things that you've learned when someone asks for your opinion on things. Just because you may have done something in a non-conventional way, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it's right. You have the ability to teach people things and to help them in the next stage of their life. So share your story and continue learning and making mistakes and figuring this all out as you go. Thanks for watching this day-to-day. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to check out the written version, you can head over to the blog, expeditiontotribe.com/day-to-day, or you can just click the link below. If you did enjoy, please let me know down below in the comment section, and be sure to share with your friends, family, anyone going to college. So thank you again for watching. See you soon. Peace out, and good luck.